Sound. Check your sound. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There's nobody here. If there's no one there to hear it make a sound, does it really make a sound? Exactly. That's what I said. If no one's in the audience to listen to me talk, am I really talking? Um. So, Mr. Coffee, what's up? Tournament? You have a tournament? No, next weekend. Next weekend. Yeah, this is 2600. I'm 2600 in puzzles. Knight g6 is nothing. Queen h8 is nothing. We can just eliminate. Process elimination is probably the best methodology here. G6, knight f6. Rook f6. Pawn takes f6. The rook defends h7. So what do I have there? Nothing. Knight f7 looks nice, but then he just takes it. Then I take with check. It's nothing. Again, nothing, nothing, nothing. He has a freaking bishop on c2. Jesus Christ, it has to be something else. We're down a piece here. Knight f7, maybe. Knight f7 attacks the queen. And I'm threatening mate in 1. And so he has to take it. This must be the point. He has to take it. I take with the queen, it's check. And now the problem is he has king h8 or even king h7. I think the idea is there that I have a mate. So it's like knight f7, rook f7, queen f7, check. King moves h8 probably. And then rook f4. I'm dropping too much material there, I'm afraid. Rook f4, queen f4, queen f4, bishop takes b1. I have like nothing left at that point. It has to be knight f7. Knight f7 takes, queen takes check, king h8. Yeah, it's a problem though. That's a real problem. That stupid bishop comes back to life, back to h7. I don't know. Layush. Oh no, this is morning. Yeah, this is morning. There is no morning. There's an afternoon. That's really the morning. And yeah, I agree with Richie. There's no such thing as morning anymore. The afternoon is the morning, and there is no morning. Alright, so freaking don't care about puzzles. Now, Arsenal fan, are you serious? Are you ready? Are you ready for the challenge? Are you ready for your challenge? Or is this just putting yourself in the queue so you can have the challenge when you're ready? Because I'm not warmed up yet. I'd like to beat on some 1300s, maybe, first, if it's possible. Alright. The board, the pieces, and the moves are elements of a relational space. That's nice. More puzzle themes. Path tracing a 3D chessboard. Yawn. Alright. Shocky. Oh, speaking of 1300s. No, 1300s, not 2300. Is it better to solve 100 1000 rated puzzles or one 3000 rated puzzle? None of the above. Thinking I'm taking existential. You're having an existential crisis. Not again. You've been having it for a while. I think we all are. I think that we all are. That's the thing. It just gets worse. And it's going to get worse before it gets better. Because it's not going to get better. So it's definitely going to get worse first. It has to get worse by definition. It always gets worse. Arceus VMAX. Shocky. So everyone's over 2000. 3 plus 2, that's a random time control. No 3 plus 2. 5 plus X, and no funny business with like 150 minutes or whatever. 5 plus X, and where X is under 6. X is a number between 5 and 1, or 1 and 5 if you prefer. You're a Pokemon fan. It gets worse. Oh, that's a Pokemon fan? He's gone now. It was nice knowing him. Alright, I'm going to accept the challenge. If it's not, it's not. If it's not. VMAX, oh. It's a weird name for a Pokemon. Alright, so, yesterday, yeah, we talked about Karokan is out. That's totally not happening. You're right about the Sicilian. I mean, Sicilian is probably best if we're playing and we have to win. I think there's no other question. And D6 is our go-to move. You know, we have to allow Bishop E5 check or something, but it's better to allow Bishop E5 check than maybe Bishop E5 Rosslimo. I don't know. All right. So the Ricky Rouser has been prevented. Now we can play many things, but we wanted to play the Ricky Rouser. So do it. Take on C6. What do you do here? Bishop E5, Bishop G5, Knight takes C6. Well, we talked about this the other day. Bishop E2 is White's best move. No, Bishop E2 is underrated, and it's hard to play, apparently, because White has a really bad score with that move. Now, it's 5 plus 5, so we have a good increment, a lot of time to think. Whatever I play here, and Andrew Clarkland used to play H6. If you can play H6, you can play anything, you know. That's just a diss move. So I think I'll go for Bishop D7 today. I've played almost every conceivable variation. We haven't played this lately. So now he's up and ready. Early day today. We're starting the stream. Yeah, I used to do 3. I can't believe I used to do 3 daytime streams a week, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, but you know, I didn't get many viewers on Mondays and Wednesdays, so it was kind of stupid, honestly. That's why I stopped. Friday's usually a little better. So F4, that's arguably like one of the number 1 moves. Can I play H6 now? I think you can. I think you can do whatever you want, man. Let's go, Brandon. Polarizing variation. So, I don't remember. Am I supposed to play Queen A5 first now? Does it matter? Polarizing. Pokemizing. Pokeball. Is Pokemon related to Pokeballs? My daughter said don't get the Pokeball at Kentucky Fried Chicken or something like that. Does that make sense? Do they have Pokeballs at Kentucky Fried Chicken? Pokemon soup. The everything burger. They have everything burgers. Arsenal fan loves a good everything burger. I was always a fan of everything bagels, but he's got the everything burgers. Right now, yeah, because we like to put our pieces where they're not protected. So 964 E5 doesn't work. Yeah, well, I mean, not necessarily anything dramatic I can do here, but it doesn't. It can't be right. I mean, bishop c4 can't be right, so there has to be a problem with it. But how immediate can I exploit this? I don't know. It's a kind of fast time control. I don't have too much time to think here. Should just play on the instinct. Part of me wants to go knight a5, which I like doing anyway. You know, let's just get away from the center. Like someone dropped a bomb in the middle of the center and there's a huge crater and it just blew my knight out to the side of the board. But we were talking about this yesterday. I mean, the knight is in the way. You know, it's in the way. That's the problem in the classical Sicilian. Get out of the way, man. Get out of the freaking way, right? I'll just attack things, you know, for the sake of attacking them. Attack. Pokeballs. So what's up, Mr. Coffee? Are you off today? Next week is your tournament. 2 weeks I go to the States. What else is new? What else is up? The Grand Chess Swiss is on. Oh, let's see. I've got team championship next week. Board 7. Well, I don't know how many of us will actually show up. We're having a team meeting next Friday. So I guess I'll find out like what board I'm actually going to play. I'm 7th ranked on our team list. Even though by rating I would be like 3rd. Maybe 4th. But that's cool. It's like they said, maybe it's better that I just play weak players and crush them. I like it better. Actually, I'm coming to grips with it, you know. Screw playing good players. I don't need to play good players. I just need to play bad players and crush them. So knight b3, okay, this is what we expected. What else would you expect here? So there is the, there is the Geller, yeah, right. Leonid Stein is in the house. So we have knight g4, queen e2. What does that do? Knight g4, queen e2 doesn't do anything. Knight g4, queen e2, knight c4, that's a funny line. Then knight d5 happens, so knight d5 is a serious problem there. I can play e6. I don't really want to take on b3. We're going to have to play e6, it appears. It looks a little slow. How bad can it be? Well, there goes knight g4. Knight g4. You know what? I totally didn't mention queen e3 check. It's worth mentioning, you know, the move, because white would have to decide whether to trade queens or play something else. Yeah, I should have more seriously considered queen e3 check. I play for Sharkine now. It just moved up to the first division. So what am I going to do? Queen e2, good move. His moves just get better and better all the time. What is white threatening? Part of me wants to go back now. I don't know. He's just not going to castle, I guess. That's fine. Just don't castle. Be like that. You don't castle, I don't castle. Ooh, he's perfect. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not taking the team championship too seriously. Whatever. They do what they want. I care about my results, and you're gonna put me on a low board, whatever. I'm gonna win my games. You do what you want. All right. Knight d5. Wait. I have to take first. I have to take first. I would say this is a perfect game by white. Although the opening, technically, nobody really... I can't imagine that people play bishop c4. It's like a non-existent move. He comes up with a move that's never going to be played. It just optically looks too dangerous to play. Really? Rook f1. You're literally never castling. Okay. Castle queenside. This is a perfect moment to castle queenside for white. Problem is, if he castles queenside, he doesn't. Oh, rook a4. I guess he's not castling queenside. I'm castling queenside. How about that? Queen takes b3. He couldn't castle queenside. He loses his b3 pawn. This is a rather surprising move. Wow. Yeah. Hard to believe he's 2182. He must drop pieces, The only possible way the Arsenal fan is only 2182 is like he just makes like a lot of big blunders. Because he's extremely tough, extremely dangerous. But he must offset with some serious blunders. What am I doing, dude? Oh. Can't protect that square. It sucks. The f6 square. It's alright. Oh my god, dude. Man. Imagine the adrenaline involved in Arsenal fan. I can never take the rook. It's the weirdest game ever. He's always ahead on time, bro. Always. How can you always be ahead on time? You never need to use time. He never has to think. Oh my god. He never exchanges pieces. What a game, dude. Just continuous pressure on the clock. Did my best. He was back in the game at one point. Queen g3. That was a crazy game, dude. f4 is normal. So nobody plays rook c8 here. Actually, I don't understand why. That's really weird. Everybody plays queen a5 in this position for black, but that's strange because rook c8 is a completely normal move. Look at that. There's only 12 games where black played rook to c8. Weird. I don't believe it. Actually, I remember now. I got the position confused with a different line. You know, Leonid Stein played queen b6, so queen b6 is the main move. That's why nobody plays rook c8, because queen b6 is better. There's a very famous Leonid Stein game with black. That's why this move is rarely played. I mistook the position for a different... Yeah, you didn't play queen d2 yet. You know, you're supposed to play queen d2 and then f4. So that's the difference. And that's what's weird about the game. I got confused and I thought f4 was a normal move, but it's not. I haven't played this lately. So he plays this unusual f4. I'm supposed to play queen b6. Instead, I played rook c8. Now, if he plays queen d2, it transposes back into normal lines. But he plays bishop c4. You know, almost no one is going to like put their bishop on c4 here. There doesn't seem to be a way to really take advantage of it. I should have played queen b6 again. Oh wow, even knight g4 is good. Yeah, my knight a5 isn't as good. So this move kind of justified. It kind of justified bishop c4, but I didn't realize how good queen b6 is. So after this, queen b6, knight b3. The engine wants me to play knight c4. The idea is takes. I have some kind of in-between move. Okay, anyway, it was an interesting game. I forgot the opening. You were creative. And you managed to get to +1. It is a funny position. Where you don't castle. And I don't castle. It's about even you. So he managed to find the engine move here, rook a4. Wow. Yeah, real talent for finding moves. Rook a4, because you can't castle. You get queen takes b3. I mean, you can, but you lose a pawn. You know, so this is an amazing move. Yeah, and rook g4, I mean, just amazingly creative exchange sacrifice. But, you know, we've talked about this. One man's creative is another man's crazy. Whatever makes you happy. So risky. Wings of Chess. Wings of Chess. Reduce. God Shankar is back. And Giashak. So Wings of Chess. On the Wings of Chess. Who's Wings of Chess? This is new. Chess Wings. Puzzles 2400. Bullet 1400. That doesn't matter. Alright. Who are you, Wings of Chess? Well, what's a pawn when you can sack the exchange? I almost didn't take it, you know. I almost didn't take your exchange sack, but then I thought, well, I kind of need to take it to try to make you, you know, prove it. Otherwise, I'm slightly worse. So I have two choices. I can be slightly worse, or I can take the exchange and defend. I mean, what would Korchnoi do? No question. So, yeah. Wings of Chess. You got to take it. Now, if I was better in the first place, I probably wouldn't take it. But I'm not better. You know, I'm slightly worse. So, when you're slightly worse and the opponent offers you material, you know, I think you have a good reason to take it. Wow, a classical, not a classical, but a mainline E3 Rubinstein Nimzo. Very rare to see that animal here. People don't play that, you know, on Lichess. Even D4 is rare. Think Nimzbich. The Wings of Lichess. Oh no. Wow. Rubinstein variation. I used to play this a lot with white. B6. So we got a couple hours to play Blitz. I'll be streaming for like 2 hours. Wings of Chess, I don't know. This is a totally new account to me. Rare to see D4, but good, because I need practice playing blackside with D4. Good players always play D4 against me. Like, it seems like, mostly. There are a few exceptions. There have been a few exceptions. Yeah, like the last couple times I played black against strong players who played E4, I played the Petrov. Gonna have to think about the Sicilian. You don't want to play the Sicilian against Rosenthalis, you know? I mean, it's just not a good idea. Fucking C3 Sicilian, you know? That's a disaster. Bishop D2. This is my last strong player who played E4 against me. It was in the World Senior last year. And you can't play the Sicilian against Rosenthalis. That's horrible. The guy's like one of the biggest C3 Sicilian experts. Disgusting, you know. I can't do that. There's no way I'm playing the Sicilian against him. It's horrible. Even like Gelfand couldn't beat him. I would rather play the Sicilian if I had my druthers, but there's certain people you just don't want to play it against. And I remember also 2 years ago I had a game with Nevednici who I also played the Petrov against. And I played Novik and I played the Petrov. All these guys play like weird stuff against the Sicilian. None of them play like main line. There's always some kind of crap, you know, the Rossalimo, the C3 Sicilian, some kind of weird crap. This is main line. I had this position with Beliavsky with white. Well, this is a main line. I think Rook B1 is like the theoretical move. I thought. Therefore I am. I had a couple games with some strong players where I was white in this line. Beliavsky against Greg Serper. I had another game. I don't really know it that well though. But I mean, very few people know this stuff, you know, like with white. Everybody plays either the classical Nimzo or F3, mostly. I don't think Serper plays, you know. That's weird. I don't know what he does. He's about my age, maybe a year or two older. And he probably teaches chess, but he lived in like Washington State or something, I think. He played for a long time. He was very active for a long time in like American tournaments, and then, you know, when he just too many players, you got to kind of quit. I mean, you can't play tournaments for money when there's like hundreds of grandmasters, especially young ones. Okay, knight g3. That looks like right. Yeah, I can't remember my own games. I don't know. This looks pretty normal. Knight f5. Knight f5 will be an issue. So what the hell do I do? d6. How ridiculous is it to play d6? Well, I don't have to play it right away. But I don't want knights coming to f5. They say white plays d5. Last thing I want to see is like a knight on f5. I could play like d5. I have to watch that though, because then, yeah, it's like d5. I'll have knight f5. I don't know, but his king is still in the center of the board. I mean, this is kind of, these are very weird variations. We need amateur and pro chess rankings. That's a cool idea. Then, like, the pros will want to pretend to be amateurs, sandbagging and stuff. Pro boxing. What am I doing here? Take, bishop takes c3. Wings of Chess, is this some Smurf account? Like their 10th account? I don't know, man. I think everybody's a Smurf. I keep thinking like everyone I play is someone I've played under another account. They can't all be new. You know, where'd all these people come from? Oh, kids, what am I doing with my knight on the side of the board? That knight on a6 is really lame. And, alright, but anyway, You can't play d5 because I'm gonna like win a pawn, right? You just can't do that. I was gonna use my bishop to protect f5, but hopefully that's not gonna be an issue. But my knight is a problem. This could be a problem too. You are the problem. If you're not the solution, you might be the problem. Right, Mr. Coffee? Guys, what's up? Hey, what's our schedule? Okay, Sunday is simul, normal simul, 7 p.m. We're up to 2049. We've got a month and a few days to go for World Senior. We're gonna need some donations, guys. I know like Friday we typically don't get donations, but just keep in mind we're going for the World Senior fund. Wow, so he's sacking a pawn here, possibly. Jesus Christ, dude. This player is serious. I feel like I have to take it. But then I get rammed with other issues. Rammed tough. This is a scary game by white, dude. They are really pro player. How can they be 2000 in Blitz? This is extremely subtle. It's based on bishop takes, pawn takes, pawn takes, take on d5, knight f5, and I'm getting just destroyed. Did they add more time? Why do I have so much time? Ugh. Knight c7. Can't allow that. g6 is horrible. g6 is horrible. How about pawn takes pawn immediately? A very bad Benoni indeed. A bad Benoni indeed. Oh, this looks very suspicious for black. Well, it's not meant to be a safe line. But white's play is like too perfect. Literally perfect play by white. He almost traps my guy there. Bishop takes c4. Oh, what a surprise. Thought I had something here. Take, no. Knight d7. I just lost a pawn for nothing. Wow, that's good. Wings of chess. Wing of chess. Oh, it's wing of chess. Wing of chess. Of course. Perfect increment time use. He goes down to exactly 0.3 seconds every time he makes a move. Watch this. Exactly 0.3 seconds. Every time he's making like perfect moves, dude. This is such bullshit. I don't know, dude. This is so dubious, this account. Every time he makes a move when he gets down to like 0.3 seconds. Whatever, dude. Super dubious. This is a super dubious game by White. I'm just resigning. Get out of here, bro. I am not playing this account ever again. 2000 in Blitz. Whatever, dude. Super, super dubious account. I would never play this account again. Nobody who can play the white side of a Rubinstein variation like that could possibly be 2003 in Blitz. That's physically impossible, bro. And the way that you're playing the clock with down to 0.3 seconds every time you make a move, like perfect pace, like timing, you make your move, your perfect move every time you're down to 0.3 seconds or 3 seconds, whatever, you know, it's just too perfect, dude. You're like a grandmaster or something. How could you be a grandmaster and be 2003? Whatever. That was almost a perfect game by White. Jesus Christ, dude. I mean, get out of here. There's no way. All right, next cheater. No. That was a good waste of time. I love playing computer in the morning. Nice. Nice computer game. I played this again. Alright, I'm tilted now. I love the smell of burning computers in the morning. The combo of the 2000 Blitz rating, the pace of play, lack of inaccuracies, the subtlety of the variation involved, you'd have to be literally 2300 FIDE, or like a very underrated player who was under 2300 FIDE. He didn't do much. No, there's a lot that happened behind the curtain, Shockey. I don't think you appreciate the subtlety of that position. It's a very, very subtle variation. It doesn't look like he didn't do anything. Like he literally did nothing. Bro, you don't understand the variation. The subtle threats of I didn't self-destruct. I had no moves. I was in like Zugzwang. That's a lot different from self-destructing. Being in like Zugzwang is not self-destructing. I mean, eventually you have to self-destruct somehow, but I'm in Zugzwang. Positional Zugzwang. With my knight on a6, bishop on a5. Yeah, I have to completely disagree with you. That's a total cheater. But, you know, you don't play that style of game, so you wouldn't really understand. To you, it looks like he did nothing, but I think, you know, it's a matter of style. What he did was, like, not make any mistakes and leave my pieces misplaced very subtly with threats of knight f5. But I can't do nothing there with my knight on a6 and my bishop on a5. It's not a classical style of chess we're talking about here. Whatever, I mean, he's totally dubious. How could you possibly be 2003 and play like that? Even the calculation at the end with bishop takes c4. And all of his moves down to exactly just a few seconds. Yeah. everyone who's 2003 and in Blitz can play like perfect time use with increment, very standard. Then he wants to chat. I don't want to chat with him. Like, what should we chat about? Like, how he cheated? I got an email the other day from this one guy who cheated last week in my simul, and he tried to defend his bullshit. It was really pathetic. The guy had the audacity to send me a message trying to chess-plain all of his moves. He tried to chess-plain all of his moves that were like perfect engine moves. He played 15 engine moves in a row, and then in chess speak tried to explain like a noob would explain how a noob would play like 15 perfect moves in a row. It was really sad. I was like, that's pathetic, dude. I can't believe this guy would seriously. And we can go back over the game and step by step you can see how he probably played like top engine moves every single time. You know, it's not a tactical line. But the one tactic that came up was like when he can capture the pawn on c4 and there's like discoveries and his bishop's potentially vulnerable to some tactics. There's nothing there, you know. He didn't even hesitate. 3 seconds left, boom, take it. Ty Mel is rating with party of 8. .96 is like main line. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to play for a win. Yeah, Beliavsky doesn't know what he's doing. Of course. It's very dubious. He plays dubious stuff all the time. I just told you I had the position with white against Beliavsky. The exact same variation. Maybe you weren't paying attention. Black's playing for a win. You know, it's not easy to play for a win on the black side of Rubinstein Nimzo. You have to create some kind of imbalance. Obviously, knight a6 is kind of risky, but I mean, in order to live, you have to be willing to die. But I'm not expecting my opponents to play like computers. I wouldn't play the variation against a computer, obviously. I'm not trying to play the best possible moves there, you know. I'm trying to create a position where a normal human would make some kind of mistakes. I've had some games with humans, and the last time it was like a tough draw against this Polish guy. I was slightly worse. But managed to hold a draw. But obviously, if I want to draw, I'm not going to play that line. Of course, it's a risky variation for black. Not one you would ever choose to play against an engine, because it has obvious positional drawbacks. Beliavsky, for example, very uncompromising player. He's not afraid to play slightly risky stuff. You know, the idea is to create complications. You can go c5 or d5 on the first move or the second move. Sure. Those are very common chess moves. I did go c5. So why is this okay, e5, right? Yeah, I'm kind of pissed about that game. You know, the worst thing is like you don't know for sure if you're playing an engine. In the back of your mind, you're like, it's an engine. But then you're like, well, maybe it's not. You have this hope that it's not. You know, Arsenal fan? You keep hoping that it's not. I get it all the time because it happens in offhand blitz games too, and you're never sure it's a computer, till you're sure. If we look at that guy's games, you're gonna see like tons of horrible games where he makes tons of mistakes, like the polar opposite of what he just did against me. But maybe Arsenal's right. Maybe he's a positional genius who's just like weak tactically, and he just happened to get the exact perfect position for him. But the chances of that are relatively low. I think I can safely ban him. Now see, like Redusa is 2130 and blundered the exchange here. That guy's 2003 and didn't make any kind of tactical mistakes. The other thing, is like how safe White played, if you think about it. I mean, dude played like Shockey's like, well, he did nothing. Yeah, he did nothing in a really, really strong way. Sometimes that's all you have to do is do nothing really well. Magnus does that, times. Queen h4. Should I sack on f2? No, probably not. I mean, Redusa plays really loose, aggressive chess, and that's the polar opposite of what I got against that other guy. I mean, I have to say the opening choice, first of all, very, very subtle line. So, in itself is kind of suspicious. On Lichess with the player who's rated 2000. Most people that rating, they're all playing e4 and playing the Bodler with White, or the London system. This guy's playing the Rubinstein Nimzo. Redusa he's got chances to hang on here in this endgame. Do I take with the rook or do I take with the pawn? I guess I take whichever way is best, huh? Rook takes, attacks his knight. I don't know. Further outside pawn. I could have taken the rook because knight b7, rook b6, but he has a pawn for the exchange. My structure's not great. Here comes his king. Fast and furious. But think about how well the guy played the clock in the last game. Reducing doesn't play increment well. He doesn't handle the clock well in increment. He kind of plays increment like it's not increment. You need to make a distinction. The wing of chess. was like the master of increment. It was like if Mr. Slow, that could have been like Mr. Slow on a really good day, you know. I would say that's the level of chess he played. Mr. Slow is 2100 FIDE and can play an almost flawless game and can manage the clock really well. So if Wing of Chess came and said, "I'm Mr. Slow, I'm just playing on a Smurf account," I would believe them. You know, maybe yeah, they could be like a 2100 who played a really good game and he's a really good clock manager. But you know, in a vacuum, it's probably a cheater. I would say like 90%. Yeah, there is a chance that Wing of Chess didn't cheat, but they'd have to be quite a strong player. Um, so I think we can assume the worst. God Shankar, another player we don't really know too well. Um, all right, guys. So every time I lose, you're cheating. No, that's not how it is. It's just depending on the game. No, if I see a 2000 rated Blitz player play an FM level game, I'm sorry. You know, that's not okay. You're too low rated. Active Blitz player too. You know, you can see they have like just played games. Could it be is his style? Well, that's kind of what we talked about, but yeah, it was a lucky game. The variation he knows the best in all of chess. But the time management is just ridiculous, bro. His time management was ridiculous. Like, perfect time management. Come on. Perfect nerves and time management. He let the clock tick down to just enough time to make his move. He let the clock tick down to just a few seconds to make his move. He did it repeatedly. So it's the Dutch. Yeah, but I'm saying like people like who are 2400 can exercise time management like that. But if he was that good at time management, why the fuck is he 2003? You know, give me a break. Dude would easily be 2400, easily, if that was his true strength. So I have to use the ratings as a way of checking if people are cheating or not. The more you know. Oh, I don't bother to report people anymore because Lichess doesn't have the capacity, or it doesn't seem like they have the capacity. Oh. Yeah, but I don't know, Arsenal fan, why that guy is even involved. You know, that's weird. Yeah, he seems very strange, judging by his blogs and stuff. Don't don't like that guy either. He's like real sketchy. He organizes these like weird amateur tournaments and stuff. Seems like kind of a scammer. Isn't he the one who's like got this like amateur chess championship stuff he organizes? Yeah, not a standard moderator. More like a special wannabe. I mean, he's not really what I would call a mod. You know, This is a guy who wants to be like in charge of stuff. He's not. He wants an angle for everything. At least he plays chess. Yeah, unlike Danny Wrench. Yeah, at least he plays chess. That's true. Susan Polgar plays chess too. Blech. Playing chess is not enough. And even being good is not enough. You can still be a disgusting scammer, even if you're like a title player. Although FM is really pathetic. The guy also has a really high rating. Isn't he like 2,400 or something? And he's an FM. That's especially dubious. How are you like not an IM if you're 2,400? I mean, he probably like handpicks his opponents and has like private matches or something. I mean, it's extremely strange. He like has his own chess organization or something, doesn't he? Doesn't he have his own? He has his own chess federation. Never trust anyone who has their own like private chess association, where they organize amateur tournaments. That's a bad sign, bro. If I had my own chess organization, you guys could definitely like steer clear. If I start my own like chess association or something, I would say like it's a clear sign that I've lost my mind and you can't trust me anymore. I'm just in it for the money now. But he was doing that for a long time, from what I've seen. Yeah. Major self promoter. Not the worst I've ever seen, but hard to like them. I hate like people who over self promote. Okay, it's like not just him personally. He's promoting his stuff, you know, his association, his tournaments, his this, his that. Too busy, you know, doing too much. Doing too much. He's probably an arena grandmaster too. DTM. Nothing wrong with FIDE Masters, by the way. I should be a FIDE Master. FIDE doesn't take away my fucking title. The way I play like a FIDE Master. I deserve to be a FIDE Master. I've been playing like a FIDE Master for a long time now. It's kind of pathetic. But I borrowed that from Larry David, you know, the DTM. Leon and Larry David. So, I'm playing Steinitz, bro. Jesus Christ. It's Steinitz. It's like Botvinnik Steinitz. floor Steinitz. His bishop's gonna come out to h5 and like kill me, you know. You gotta really appreciate people that can play such defensive type positions and not mind it, you know. He has pressure on d4. Bishop h5 is a matter of time. Let's play bishop f3. Just to keep an eye on that. Keep that, you know, under surveillance. And I don't want to get forked with rook c3, knight a4. I was thinking knight b3. If I do knight b3, though, maybe it's better if he doesn't have knight a4 with tempo. Obviously, you know, yeah, he's literally playing like frickin' Steinitz. I don't know what to do. But I have to say, I am kind of concerned that he's named God. I saw a game I played against Jesus a while ago that popped up yesterday or the day before. But I'm not sure I played against God before. Jesus is one thing. But to call yourself God... Yeah, I was afraid of e5, but it's kind of early, isn't it, to play e5? He's rushing a bit here. God only knows. It's slightly arrogant to call yourself God. Your online blindfold game. God, you know how long it's been since I played World Jesus? Do you remember World Loser? We could have like, somebody should have like World Jesus. World Jesus Day. Now, he used a lot of time and now he's quick again. Yeah, I don't know. He just was real volatile like you, but worse. He did a kind of like... He divorced me because he didn't agree with stuff. Oh, he was angry because I always accused him of playing for time, I think. That was the final straw. But he was always angry about stuff. World Loser. Just kind of an angry guy. Not a bad guy, but too angry about stuff. He was like Arsenal, but never in a good mood. You know, Arsenal has this sort of bipolar thing going on where he's like pissed off all the time, but he's also like in a really like upbeat mood sometimes. Whereas World Loser was just always kind of pissed off. You know, it seemed like he was never really happy, you know. Yeah, maybe that's why you liked him. Black is really solid here. Hey, I have a passed pawn, but if I play e5, then he has a huge square on d5 for his pieces. Whoa, you're attacking my pawn? What the hell is going on, man? Are you threatening me? He's picked up the pace. I mean, this player has actually, if you think about it, Godchenkar has the exact same ratings as that other guy. No. Well, similar. Yeah, what we don't know anything about God Shankar. I think it's like Ripunj Bansal or something. No, different style. You can't help but wondering everybody is the same person. You know, everybody you keep thinking, oh, is this the guy? Is this the other guy? I want to think everybody is Ripunj Bansal. You wonder where people went. You know they're playing on another account. Plus, it's an Indian name. I mean, so it could be. My knight has no squares, bro. Knight b8's a good move. Why did it take me so long to find that? It attacks a pawn. I mean, come on. That was hard to see. It's on the side of the board, though. I didn't want to get my knight out of play. But this is actually a really good move. And my only move. Hoping to get a few scalps from old guys. There'll probably be a bunch of little kids, like, pretending to be old men or something. Little kids with, like, mustaches. And beards and shit. Can I get my knight off the side of the board, please? I didn't win the pawn, by the way. In case you guys were wondering. Now he has a passer. Okay. When in doubt, attack enemy pawn. Whoa. He's entering panic mode. You see, now you have a player who seems pretty good, but he's panicking a bit, and he has time, see? He's 2200 rapid. He has plenty of time, but he's panicking. The other guy with a 3-second increment, was incrementing like Mr. Slow. I mean, that was really disturbing. No panic whatsoever, If they don't panic, be afraid. God Shankar panicked. He had tons of time, and he panicked and there hung a piece. He hung a piece, and I didn't even take it. Total panic. And he's 2200 in rapid, by the way. Adult tournaments. Relatively new concept, by the way. No, but you know what I hate, honestly, and I've been playing chess for 40 years. I hate the way, like, the parents of children turn the tournaments into, like, I don't know, something that they're not really originally supposed to be. You got, like, camps of parents, like, camped out at adult tournaments and stuff. It's just kind of gross, I hate that. I hate when there's, like, these camps of families camped out at the adult tournament. There are juice boxes, and I'm like, dude, this isn't a children's camp. This is a chess tournament for people of all ages. Why do you have to turn it into, like, Camp Hiawatha or whatever, You can't even walk because there's, like, 15, like, parents sitting in the hallway or something like that, It's just gross. Exactly, right? Why don't I just play bishop d3? Because it fucking blunders c2. That's why. See, he doesn't want to play c2. Have that. Have another pawn. Now Shankar is playing well again. He went through a phase where he was panicking, and now he's collected himself and he's playing well again. Yeah, I hate the whole Camp Hiawatha shit, I don't know, maybe it's not as bad in the UK, but American parents, the parents that do every soccer camp, they take their kids to everything. They turn the chess tournaments into that. I hate that. I feel like I'm at the playground or something. Alright. Good game, me. So he was equalized. He was equalized, and this is what I'm talking about. He equalized, and he panicked. He equalized, he equalized, he equalized. I had a move. I had a win here. Really nice tactic. Knight takes b7. I didn't see it, of course. With the mate on d8. It's always... I can't think of a word that rhymes. Right, right. Well, 70% of the revenue is Scholastic because adults are totally turned off and have been for like 30 years. Yeah, parents are where the money is. They're cash cows. But you could generate income from adults too if you would encourage them, but they never did, never do. It's the easiest money to go after the parents of little kids, you know. It wasn't the case when I was growing up, you know. They weren't like targeting parents for their money the way they are today. The Chess Federation, in a sense, or chess federations. So he was equal, right? Right up until this point. After Queen d7, Knight d7. This isn't really panic. I found Knight b8. I'm better. And then, you know, he's in the game. c5, take here. Where did he panic? Here. But he has tons of time. The point is he has 32 seconds plus a 5-second increment. That's the point where you need to use your time to find the only move. He has enough time to find it. Bishop d7. Not an easy move to find, but he skewers me to my a-pawn. But the point is, don't make a move until you're sure. Nefyadov's up. You see, I'm just trying to point out how strong that the guy who did nothing was. Honestly. It's not everybody that after like 20 moves is down to their increments and using them perfectly. Nefyadov, maybe. No, Nefyadov will panic too. Nefyadov doesn't like to be in time pressure. All right, Nefyadov, Sicilian. That's it. Either Sicilian or the Kraken for you. No Caro-Kann. Almost nobody gets Caro-Kann anymore. Caro-Kann sucks. I never play it against kids either. They all know it like 30 moves deep. The worst opening you can play against a kid is like the dragon, and the second worst opening is the Caro-Kann. Obviously, London system is bad too. I don't get it why people play the London system because it's so. Oh, after yesterday's game, what do you think, Arsenal fan? We're gonna go for it? Nefyadov was here for the stream. You want to play the Boleslavsky variation? Nefyadov was probably prepared. It's really not a good idea, but my dragon doesn't work very well. So we might as well, you know. We might as well. Anything's, you know. I mean, black almost equalizes here, but almost, you know. So Nefyadov was obviously watching the stream yesterday. Any tips in over the board games? Well, I mean, it's really very general question. It's better to be more specific. Bishop e3. So, bishop e6. And Geller played bishop e6. You have a tournament tomorrow. Well, what were we talking about? Rapid or classical? There's a huge difference. The time control is important. I'm a big believer in using your time. Bishop f3, a5, right? Let's see if Nefyadov was paying attention. Guildmaster. Knight d5. That's what Homie played. But didn't we have a better move? Wasn't there a better suggestion? So now we're following. Geller played knight b8 in our analysis game yesterday. Knight b4 seems to be more popular. Either way, the knight might end up. Either way, the knight might end up on a6. Yeah, but I don't know. There might be another move there, Arsenal fan. I think there's actually a better move than knight d5. I think knight d2 wasn't it knight d2 or something? But this is probably his, his plan line. This is his home prep. Now a4. Okay, so a4, is that controversial? Is it definitely bad? What do I do? I play knight d7. I'm always playing knight d7. Is he going to go bishop e2? Bishop b5? Is that the plan? Maybe it's some trick. There's some trick here. Can I go b6? Should I go b6? b6, knight d2, knight c5. Maybe he has an idea with this a4. No, I talked about trading these bishops. Yeah. I don't... You just insta-played g3. Wow. Insta-g3. And so, if bishop g5, I drop a pawn. He's playing too fast again. He's inducing f5. But if that's the plan, okay, then it's not. If you plan this in advance, yesterday, then you can play g3 instantly. But by the way, I hate that when you go to Oda board tournaments and then you're playing like some kid, and they like slam out the moves. Like they hammered the moves out in like 1 second. They can't like spend 3 seconds on a move. They have to like make the move instantly. I hate that. That's a dick thing to do. Don't do it. I mean, it's just childish. I mean, there are grandmasters that do it too, and they're childish as well. But play the move in a kind of cool, stylish way. Don't hammer it out in like 1 second. Show some sort of presence. I think it might help if you don't make your opponent hate you. There's a possibility that making your opponent hate you could benefit you, but I think in a lot of cases it will backfire more than it helps. There may be beneficial situations for making another guy hate you. I think in most cases it would be not helpful. They want to beat you more. Draws would be less likely to be accepted if you needed a draw for some reason. The same in poker. I think it's better to have the other players like you. All right, let's just play g6. I want to see what Nefedov's up to here. This is why I don't play over the board or go outside. Go outside, it requires seeing people. I hate that, I completely empathize with that. Bishop h6. Nefedov, the random move of the year award. So I'm beginning to get suspicious of Nefedov's play here. I feel like bishop h6 is just playing whatever he can think of. We all like to think of Nefedov as a strategic genius, and he has a very good score against me, like 25%. as you can see. But I think in his heart, he's a freaking maniac. H4. Now that move isn't trivial. Wow, H4. But he is a maniac. There's no doubt about it. I mean, G5, I'm not going to play. F4, I'd rather not play. Are you threatening me? I am using like a bit too much time. I don't know. I mean, we got to do something at some point, you know, and that's the question. The C3, it's kind of hard to do anything against that. He can't do anything, but can I do anything? The truth is I should probably just play knight to c5. Maybe I played the wrong knight to c5, I don't know. No, this is fine. The truth hurts. I'm not sure bishop f6 was particularly necessary, but it's probably not a bad move. Closer to 40%. What? You have 450, 60 games? No. It's closer to 28% or 27% or something, right? We have 461 games, and he has 118. I'm not a very good statistician, but Mr. Coffee can confirm. I think it's like 28% or something. Let's see. I was downplaying it a little, but now you've gone the other way, claiming that Nefedov has 40%. Total exaggeration. This was his plan all along, by the way. Put the bishop on b5. But I'm going to rip him a new one on the king side. Wow. Oh man. I think I miscalculated, but whatever. Fuck. Rip him a new one on the king side. Alright, well we sacked the exchange. What? Oh shit, he's playing for time. Nefedov. I was sacking the exchange and you didn't even want it. Oh my god, he's just straight up playing for time. Oh my god, dude. Time master. We should play some Cyndi Lauper for him. Time after time. The master of playing for time. Wow. He just totally ignored the fact that I was like offering the exchange. Didn't even care. Totally didn't care. He has 2 minutes, dude. After all the streams that I've done, and all I talk about is like managing your time, managing your time, managing your time. What does Nefedov do? Plays for time. What else would he do? Ah! He plays for time, and I hung a piece. Eddie K. Eddie K is watching. That's like a Hungarian. It's embarrassing he offered a take back. I hung a piece. But at least I didn't rush. Actually, that was a bad blunder with 26 seconds left. I have tons of time. Actually, I'm as bad as anybody else. I'm spazzing out too. You're making me spaz out. If you guys would take your time, I would take your time. But now he's like playing so fast. He's 2:38 left, dude. What time control does Nefedov play? You have a take back in the bank? Well, now I have to offer him a draw. I offered a draw. But yeah. He resigned. Okay, so I hung a piece. He offered to take back. Then I offered a draw, and he resigned. All right. Well, the end of the game was very stupid. The game wasn't stupid up until move 24. When Nefedov was supposed to take the exchange. I have some compensation, but not enough. There is some compensation, though. Because my bishop and knight are quite good. I don't know how I'm going to protect f5, though. I have queen g5. So you're not winning because you won the exchange, fortunately for me. I'm very lucky because I pulled the trigger on g5. I was in real time pressure. You were flagging me. And I knew I had to go on the king side, so I did g5, but I miscalculated. And I saw it, but I couldn't find another move. And so I'm lucky here that I'm not lost after queen h5. Can I look at e4? Yeah, I didn't want to play e4. You know, e4 gives him the d4 square for his pieces. It's a very risky thing to do. Of course, it shuts down his bishop. Gotta take chances to win, right? But allowing this is kind of scary. Do you think what do you want to do? Are you gonna... This is scary. So I do like this knight, probably. But the white squares are gone. Bye-bye. So if he goes here... Okay, I can just leave it there. Like, hey, that's a nice decoration. We can put it on the Christmas tree. It is kind of like an ornament. It's true. Like, maybe we can just play around it. I like that. I don't have to take it. Obviously, I didn't have the time to consider this sort of possibility, but... Yeah. I could play, for example, queen d7. Something like that. When it becomes apparent that he probably has to move his knight again. He can't just let me have it. So, I guess e4 isn't so bad. Not a move I had the time to really consider. I didn't like Nefedov's bishop h6. You know, I thought this was bad. He's just spazzing for time now. I thought h4 was better than bishop h6, but now I had no time. But I panicked. I could play like bishop g7, bishop g5, bishop f6, and offer a draw or something, you know. I think white should take it, because we had the lesson yesterday. This is very similar to the Geller game, and white is worse. But winning for black, you know, how do I win? You could go to e3, it's a target. But Nefedov, maybe you shouldn't play like homie, you know? Actually, that is the best move according to the engine. But the previous move, right? Wait. No, there's nothing better. Bishop f3 here. We go back one more move. Bishop e3. I don't know if you can really improve. Knight d5 is possibly the best move, so this doesn't cut it. Then I have the d5. We talked about that. I mean, the position is objectively equal, but I think it's harder to play with white. c3, knight e6, so a4. Oh no, it was here, it was knight d2. Wasn't it? So here knight d2. Yeah, Arsenal is saying like you don't have to commit to a4. You don't have to commit to a4. That's very inflexible, and it makes it hard to advance your queenside pawns. They become more like fixed after a4. You keep more flexibility if you don't play a4. So you can play a trash compactor later with like c5. In a perfect world, you're playing like a3, b4, c5 and advancing your queenside. If it gets fixed on the dark squares, then your queenside majority is non-existent. So this move might actually be an important improvement for white. The engine likes a4, but, you know, the engine can't think like a human. It just makes the move that tactically is the best. Knight c7, novelty. Yeah, that's ugly. The last thing anybody wants to do is like get pinned by bishop b6 or something. So that's interesting stuff. Knight c7, novelty. Best move. Threatening nothing, you know. I guess I'm threatening e4, huh? I'm threatening e4. So now Nefedov g3, see? Now Nefedov g3 makes sense. But after this move, Nefedov played g3. This is all home preparation. f5, bishop g2. The engine prefers bishop e2. That's what I thought you were going to do. But then again, why do you need to play g3? If you're going to play bishop e2. Why don't you just play bishop e2? Like Garma and Ivan Nemeth, who's a good player. If you play bishop e2, I thought that's what you would do. That's why you play a4 to consolidate control of b5 and stick your bishop on b5. Why play g3 if you can play bishop e2, bishop b5? So the computer thinks that white is slightly better. Well, you can play f3 later if necessary, but it's probably best to play none of the above. Helmut Rossmann. All right, next game. Anyway, that was fun. Gautam Ramesh. No, Gautam Ramesh. Sorry, don't mean to associate you with a douchebag. Gautam Ramesh. Good. So how are we doing on time? Okay. Sorry, I got thinking it was like analysis stream. Imagine someone finding knight c7. Well, I mean, it is the kind of move that a dumb player might play just because it's the first thing they thought of. But I think a thinking player doesn't play that move because it looks sort of weird. Where are you going? Why are you self-pinning yourself, etc.? So it turns out you're threatening to win a pawn with e4. It has a forcing point to it. Your challenge didn't even show up. Well, you'll have to talk to Jeff forever about that. He's a really good guy. And he has a great chess association. No, I don't know. Your challenge didn't show up. People sort of wheedle their way into things. So people who weren't originally associated with Lichess can kind of wheedle their way in there, you know. That's what they do. They worm their way into like being part of the organism. Parasites. Chess parasites. Yeah, the London system is overplayed, and I think it's a very bad choice of opening because everybody plays it. So my first advice to people is stop playing the London system. I would say. At a point. Like, it's okay as a starter opening, but if you're 2300, bro, it's time to stop playing the London. I think that you need to go beyond that. Why is it a good idea to play something that everyone plays? I don't understand. You know, how is that a good strategy? Everyone is well prepared for the London, like literally. You couldn't pick a worse opening. Let's play the thing that everybody plays. Like, if you want your opponent to be prepared for you, play the London. I understand the draw. Because it's like you don't have to think much in the opening and you can play fast. But then why play chess at all? Why not just play Battleship or something else, you know? I think the openings are one of the most interesting parts of the game. If we just throw away the opening, throw away the end game, and just play middle games, that's what chess is going to become. It's fine for beginners to play the London. It's a setup. It's easy to learn. You have some simplistic approach to the first 15 moves of the game. But if you're 2300 on Lichess, you're getting too advanced for this, you know. And I'm really disgusted when I see grandmasters playing it. That's just sheer laziness and lack of creativity. But I'm happy to face it in a competitive situation. Yeah, that's a terrible move. G4 is just... G4 is extremely dangerous for white. You're weakening yourself around your king. I have a bishop on b7, and I can't take advantage of it immediately, but in the long run, I think that it's very, very dangerous. Now I have to decide, do I want to play knight f4 or just simply go back to f6? If I play knight f4, you can take and change this pawn structure. So maybe I should just be more solid here and play knight f6. And I'm banking on being more patient about exploiting this g4. You know, the obvious thing to do is to play knight f4. And maybe it's good. But this is good too, I would say, for black. I have a very good sort of like Ruy Lopez here, where white has weakened his king side. Knight g8. h5 even has to be considered. A combative response. This is a little risky, but I think it's justified by white's g4. New site suggestion. Put a special flag on London players. They only play each other. It would serve them right, you know, if like it's like you like spend the rest of eternity living in hell and only playing against the same opening over and over again. Oh my god. He's just a caveman. So I could play h4 possibly. No. Dangerous. h4? I'm not going to do that. Yeah, Ivan Sokolov had some master class where he was talking about playing h5 in the Spanish. Move 11 had maybe attended it or something. If I take this pawn, I'm opening up my own king. I don't know. This is an interesting position. despite the fact that it was a stupid London system, at least White tried to do something. Although it's wild. Sort of semi-justified. Maybe. Anyway, it leads to an interesting situation. But not the way that most people who played London would handle it, you know. I don't think that the typical player castles kingside and plays like g4. This square is very weak. Okay, now we have to take measures into our own hands here. Wow. So, queen f8. This is kind of crazy. Take. Knight h7. Yeah. No. The dark squares is what we want. So idea would be like g takes h, we don't take back. Now we got a King's Indian. I don't know what to do. Knight g5. Why would I do that? Yeah, I don't really like White's position, but he's got more time than me now. What about f5? This is crazy, huh? Okay. So now what? I have like no idea what's going on. I should probably take on f5 first. Not your typical London system player. He should be playing e4 probably. He basically played the Ruy Lopez with White. Wow. So that's like a computer tactic. Quite the sacrifice. Actually very easy to see. That was very easy to see. I didn't realize it. How strong that was. I don't know, maybe I expected a different move. I really played like an idiot. Who's Edike? Wow, really? This doesn't look good. We might be able to hang on. What about the h3 pawn? Isn't that hanging there? Not necessarily best. I beat this guy in a game? Whoa. Hmm. Bring. Wow. Alright. Maybe not the best choice. You gotta do something. Whoa, what was that? What? Take on h3. King h5. Whoa. Yes. Horrible. Feels bad. Alright. That wasn't good. Shaki, where's your games? Where's your game? Wasn't Giachi like the first one here? Oh, he's playing another game. That's why he's not. What is that, a correspondence game? Draw? Well, he drew without making a move. That's pretty cool. Giashaki played a draw without making any moves. Can you do that? Is that allowed? Mr. Coffee, is that legal? To have a draw with no moves? Are we allowed to do that? What a horrible, horrible game. I was totally lost. He was fast. No. You don't do that. Don't do the hippo. Good. No hippos. No hippos have been harmed in the making of the stream. It's not a hippo. I had one London system, please no hippos. We're like Pierts. Coffee House attack with H4. It's a thing. It is a thing. Knight H3. We're your friend. We're all friends here. Your new friend. Now I could take the queen. I probably should. It develops a piece. Bishop G7. Now normally I don't recommend castling kingside in the dragon. Queenside, I mean. But I mean this isn't a dragon. No. I don't normally play like sharp opposite side castling like dragons and stuff, but this is more like a Philidor Pierce than a dragon. Quite good for white, I would think. So now, what do I do? Bishop B5? What would Astrobate do? You're gonna come at me with the A pawn? That's fine. That's fine. I have F3, G4. What other plan is there? The guys use 0 time for the whole game. Wow. The guy. The artist formerly known as the defender of my king side. G4 is tempting, but I don't know if that's sound. Don't I have F4? F4, E5. Feels like F4 might work. Bishop takes G4. This is not your everyday position. Wow, black has used no time for the whole game. Oh my god. No, we're not doing that. So there goes the king side, or you know, there goes the dragon stuff. No dragon stuff. I also had knight d5 there, which might have been stronger. A4. Come on. You know you want to play it. Why use time? Why use time? I mean, it's crazy to use time. That's insane. Knight F7? Anyone? Holy shit, bro. I just do whatever. No, that's brutal. How we doing on time, guys? We got another game in the hopper. We got time for another game. I got to go at 3. We do have time, especially with this game. We have time for another game. I've got a challenge from Dula Pipa. Dula Pipa. Dula Pipa. Nothing. What could possibly go wrong here? He's a master of defense. Excellent move, by the way. Queen F8. Well, I guess we're taking. Taking and taking and taking. King takes. I have rook takes d6. Really nasty move. That's the problem with the knight on g5. It's a friend you can never get rid of. Oh, he dropped everything. Alright. He doesn't really do defense, does he? This opponent. Not big on the defense. He didn't read Nabokov. Alright. So I'm beginning to think like he's playing blindfolded or something. I mean, is that blindfold? I mean, Jesus, dude. So Dula Pipa was the first challenge. Now Moto came back. Moto was here before, but Moto doesn't have enough games. Bullet doesn't count. So we'll take Pipa. This is the last game for today, most likely. Unless I can squeeze in one more. Nefedov happens to people. Nefedov resigned against me, rubbing salt in the wound. In equal position, he resigned. After giving me a take back. A subtle provocative act. Uh-oh, we got another Ricky Rouser. But this time we're going to play another line. Different Rouser, different line. Now we have to play different time. Different variation every time. QB6. Cubix. Qbert. Qbert. That was a horrible game, that London. I agree with what I did. Until knight h5, g4. Even knight f6 I'm sure is good. But maybe I should have gone knight f4. But after that I had to play more accurately. He played like a psycho. And I failed. Okay, I played f5. I went crazy. I went crazy. It was crazy to play f5 in the London system game. It just didn't work. It was poorly calculated. I'm very lucky he blew that endgame because it was hopeless for me. Queen takes b2. No. So knight takes c6. This is very rarely ever played. That's like a noob variation. Ricky Rouser. Is this your home prep? Noob attack. But, I mean, b2, how are you going to protect b2? What's the point? Well, normally white plays knight b3 there. That's the main move. So now it's a poison pawn variation. A kind of poison pawn variation. Queen takes b2, rook b1, queen a3. White has some initiative. I don't have to take the pawn, but it's a good question if I should take the pawn. Looks dangerous. Getting out of bed is dangerous in the morning. But again, I do not have to take this pawn. If I don't take the pawn, what do? I just play solid chess. Let's just play solid chess. I'll just play e6. But b-file's there. You still have to deal with it. I'm not a greedy person. You can keep your pawn. I can play e5 there too. But e5 weakens the light squares. A very aggressive move now by white. f4. Again, a second chance to take this pawn in a different scenario now. Much more like it's a poison pawn Najdorf now. Queen b2, rook b1, queen a3. I'm very tempted to take it. Rook b3, queen a5. Very tempting to take that pawn now. I mean, I think it's probably worth it. f4 has opened up a lot of squares. You know, his dark squares are much weaker now than before. Blobby Fischer. Whatever. h6. h6. Bishop h4. I can play anything I want. Knight d5. Knight d5. e d5. What about h6, g5? h6. Bishop h4, g5, fg5, hg5, bishop takes g5. Holy moly, Batman. But knight e4 I don't really like. So knight e4 is going to be a feature here. Not a bug. We also have de, fe, and the old like queen c5. I'm not a big expert on the poison pawn Najdorf. That doesn't work. Alright. Take, bishop e4. Rook b3, obviously. This may be a bad move. This is probably a bad move. White has somehow created a poison pawn Najdorf in the classical Sicilian. I should just play knight d5, I think. That would be the best. Wait, this may not be that bad, but it's crazy. Maybe it's not bad. Alright, I have no idea what's going on. Alright, he could have played takes, but he played this. Now g5 takes. Now his bishop is in a different place. g5. Takes. Bishop takes. What is the point of g5 for me? I mean, why am I doing that? Not really clear. Insta move, rook b3? That's a very insta rook b3. Well, it defended his knight, okay? The hell is going on here? I have no idea. I mean, he's played like kind of crazy with sacking the b pawn like it was a Najdorf. It's not a Najdorf, by the way. You know, I didn't play a6. So you're not supposed to be able to do like too much crazy stuff there. g5 still interesting. So I want to fight for control of the center. Dula Pipa, 2127. Dueling Pipas. Relatively tactical player here. Wow. Shoo, this is crazy. That's a serious threat involving the knight f6 thing. Okay, how serious? This is a crazy player. I mean, how could they be 2100? I guess they could. 2000 in bullet, 1863 in chess 960. He's the opposite of the Nimzo guy. Szerettel, 3K. It's like a Hungarian spelling. The SC. Can be Polish too. Szeretnék. Knight f6 check, king d8. Knight f6 check, king d8, knight d5 check. Yeah. King d7. If you check me again, I have c7 available. White is a real wild man. He likes chaos. You enjoy some good chaos, so I have this. It's a draw? I guess it's a draw. Shit. Oh, I have b7. Okay. I could go to b7. Maybe it's not a draw. Well, if I can play for a win, I should. I mean, I'm up a pawn, right? c5 is unavailable. Well, this was entertaining, if nothing else. I mean, I wanted to play an interesting game. But I don't know what to do now. You know, if he plays bishop e3, I might have to play c5 to stop c5. If he plays a4, we have other options. Okay, what's that? Fighting king, come on. Oh, no. Not today. Not today, bro. You're not doing that today. knight takes e4, check. Takes on e3 first. We have a lot of discoveries. Final position better for black, but not that clear. These bishops are really strong. Ooh, he missed a good move there. He missed a very strong move there. Rook a3. Now we should be winning. That was a really crazy game. Still not over. All right. The rook is not the best blockader. He's getting those pawns moving. Damn it. It's a little awkward. Now the two bishops is too much. We're off to the races. Whew, that wasn't easy. That was a little scary. Smothered mate. Stalemate. There's a stalemate. Stalemate. Smothered mate. Smothered mate. Not quite smothered mate. Not quite stalemate either. Well, I played this account before. I didn't realize that. Where's the mate, man? Come on. I'm gonna get mated. This guy does not give up. Anyway, that was a fun last game. Still no stalemate. Sorry. Sorry about that. Is that like the maximum number of moves you could avoid getting mated or something? Why resign now? Ah, what a game. Anyway, guys, I gotta go. I made a blunder. But we're playing a little bit better. We're almost warmed up. This is actually a pretty decent game by me. One mistake, one blunder, no inaccuracies. One inaccuracy. 1-1. 1-1-1. No, 2-2-1. But still, not that bad. Yeah, I've never seen anyone play knight takes c6 there. So Black's best move is probably taking the pawn right away, but I wasn't sure. It's that clear. So after e6, we got a transposition to a game. You should play like Richie. f4 just encourages me to take the pawn. Wow, rook b8 is even stronger. There's a game. Wow, rook b8 is even stronger. Alright guys, I gotta go. Thanks for watching. We'll see you Sunday for Simul. Bye-bye.